This is Faith Encouraged with Father Barnabas Powell. Homilies designed to help you live a purposeful and faith-filled life in Jesus Christ. Here's Father Barnabas.
Good morning. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I don't know where we're going to start putting you people. Good problems, though. I'd rather have this problem than trying to raise the dead every 5 minutes. I've had that kind of fun, too, and I'm not interested in that either. Some of you did not grow up in the 1970s. Your loss. Just is. Your loss. Those of you born after the 1970s can only longingly look back at an age when everything was perfect, there was no problems, everything. I will say this, there was at least great music. And, of course, I'm a chronological snob enough to say it was the best music. It really was. Some stuff good in the 80s, but what are you going to do? I mean, I can only listen to Billie Jean so often before I'm ready to scream. But there's a great song in the 1970s called I Can See Clearly Now. You know that song? I love the song simply because it says, it's about this guy who, he's finally got all of his barriers behind him. Everything's clear, everything's fine. And he says, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. All of the dark clouds have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been waiting for. It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Huh? Not bad, huh? Huh? So if I lose this gig, I maybe can do something else here. You folks are so patient with me. I'm so grateful for you. I really am. It's a great song. And it's easy, especially in our own culture today. We're Americans. And Americans have that can-do spirit. Americans have that conquer-all spirit. Why, there's a reason why you go into any bookstore in the United States, and one of the largest sections in that bookstore is going to be the self-help section. And they tell you, well, you just need to have a positive attitude. And now, gang, listen, you got to understand something. None of this is bad. None of this is bad. But the dirty secret doesn't sell as many books. And that is, it's hard work to get there, gang. It's hard work to get there. It's hard work to have a happy marriage. It's hard work to have financial security. It's hard work to take care of your physical body. It's hard work. Now, it used to be that's something you'd hear all the time. Hard work? Oh, of course, yeah, everybody's hard work. We've got the Protestant work ethic in this country. But, by God, that's it. But the only problem is, gang, is that if you always focus on one side of the equation, you're going to eventually get unbalanced some way or another. It's like the guy who only works his legs in the gym. His legs are great, but his upper body strength is toast. So the key is to have balance. But to have balance, brothers and sisters, means, and I want you to watch this carefully, because, ladies and gentlemen, I love you very much. And you need to understand, when you hear Father Barnabas preaching this way, it's because this message is as much for him as it is for anybody else. This is our common human struggle. You and I are all in the same boat, gang. We're in the same boat. Anybody who tries to tell you differently is trying to sell you something. And the happy, wonderful commercials that we see on the television saying, only if you'll only just buy this toothpaste, all the women will love you. If you only have this cologne, then everything is going to be wonderful in your life. If you just bought this house or drove this car or did all of these things, then all of your problems would be solved. I swear, sometimes I see some of these car commercials and think, man, if I could just get in that car. If I could just get in that car, everything would be fine. Well, just look at those people in that car. They look at them. They're good looking. They're sharp. Their hair's fixed. They're not overweight. None of them's overweight ever. They look happy. I need that car. But of course, that's ridiculous on its face. The challenge, brothers and sisters, is that we must understand that we're all in the same boat. We're all in this struggle together. And here's the key. We are not going to, no matter what Hollywood tells you, no matter what the self-help books tell you, no matter what the positive thinking folks tell you, we are all going to struggle. Struggle and the accompanying suffering is normal. It's normal. It's supposed to happen. It is a testimony to the delusion of our age when we are shocked that times are hard, that life is difficult. It is a testimony to the intoxication of our age that we are amazed in our entitled mentality. I never will forget the story. Can I tell one quick story? Is that all right? It's embarrassing for the person that it happened to, not me. This guy gets a job, and he starts going to work, and he starts showing up late. This is a kid that would fit in, please don't be offended, but he would fit in the millennial age group. And there was one week where he just didn't come in on time at all. A couple of days he didn't even show up. And so his boss confronted him and said, "Man, listen, you're fired." "What?" "It was just a couple of times." No, you don't understand. I hired you to do a job." And the guy broke down in tears. "I'm going to call my mother." You're going to what? "I'm going to call my mother." He called his mother. His mother called the boss up and blessed him out. "How dare you treat my son this way?" You see, brothers and sisters, it is a testimony to the delusion of our age that we are surprised at hard times. We are surprised when things are difficult. We didn't expect it. And it is that very unexpected nature of our challenge and our struggle that knocks us down and confuses us and discourages us. But brothers and sisters, make no bones about it. We are all in a struggle. I had a man in confession one time ask me one time, he said, "Father, when am I going to get over this?" And I had to put my arm around him and say, "Son, never." Well, not never. God's given us the grace of the grave that eventually our habits and sins are going to stop. They are. They're just going to stop. That's a good thing. But you're going to struggle with this your whole life. It isn't in the escaping of struggle and troubles that I find myself happy. It is in finding my joy and happiness in the midst of my struggles that I have a peaceful life and a sober life and a mature life and an awake life and a life that is filled with peace. Sounds like the life that we want. It's certainly the life that everybody keeps trying to sell us on the commercials. But they're selling us a bill of goods, telling us that we don't have to struggle to get it. You have to struggle to get this, folks. And you have to struggle every day. You want to stay married? You got to struggle. You want to be happy? You got to struggle. You want to have peace in your life? You got to have struggle. In fact, brothers and sisters, the Orthodox faith in her genius tells you over and over and over again that you get what you most need most of the time by going through the door of its opposite. You want peace? Prepare for war. You want joy? Face sadness. You want strength? Deal with your weakness. You get what you need by going through the door of its opposite. This is the reason why I love what the Apostle Paul talks about in another place in one of his epistles, where he talks about putting on the whole armor of God. He talks about putting on the whole armor of God. And he says, I want you to be strong in the strength of the Lord. I want you to be strong in the strength of the Lord, not your own strength, not your own abilities. You've already proven by your actions, gang, that you're even if we're grading on a curve, we're C+ at best. Not in your strength, in the strength of the Lord. And then he says, I want you to put on the armor of God. And he talks about a helmet, the helmet of salvation. He talks about the breastplate of righteousness. He talks about having your loins. I love those old words, don't you? Your loins. You don't hear that a lot nowadays. How are your loins? Well, wait a second. That's none of your business. Gird your loins with truth. By the way, that's the reason why this belt is on here. That's what I say when I put this belt on. By the way, you guys know I dress for you, right? You realize that, right? This is for you. I dress this way for you. That's why the church puts me in these clothes. So you'll know who you are. Isn't that cool? So you gird your loins with truth. You have your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel. The sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith. Interestingly enough, in this list of armor, the Apostle Paul gives you no covering for your backside. Because those of us who are awake and freed from the delusion that we do not struggle, or that we shouldn't struggle, or that struggle is bad, those of us who have woken up and matured beyond the childish notion that I should never suffer, I should never have difficulty, I should never have pain, I should never be inconvenienced. Those of us who have grown up beyond that poverty, beyond that spiritual delusion, we understand we're in a fight. And it ain't a fight that we're running from. It's not a fight where we retreat. There's no armor for your back. Only attack. Lean into the wind, gang, when your life is hard. And it's going to be. Truth is, it may be right now. Lean into the wind. Don't run. Don't hide. Everything you need's here. Put your armor on. Get your helmet on. Take your sword out. Don't be a girl. No, don't do that. Don't be a coward. Don't be a coward. Lean into this, folks. Lean into it. But Father, what if I fall down? We're coming. Just holler. We're coming directly. Shoot the flare up. I'm on my way. We're not doing this by ourselves. You're not suffering by yourself. You're not struggling by yourself. We're going to have communion together here in just a second. We're committed to one another. We'll be right there directly. But don't quit. And don't fall for the notion that it ain't going to be a fight. Because it is. The neat thing about it is, just like the little boy on the playground who got into a fight with one of his friends, and then the friends looked up and saw his big brother standing behind him, they took off. Well, behind you, whenever life gets tough, looming behind you is Jesus Christ. You're going to be okay. Just don't fall for the lie that you don't have to fight. And don't fall for the foolishness that you're going to lose. You're not. You're going to be all right. Amen.
Father Barnabas is the priest at the Saints Raphael, Nicholas, and Irene Greek Orthodox Church in Cumming, Georgia. Find out more at faithencouraged.org. That's faithencouraged.org.